Hi everyone, welcome back to Lupus Comforts. In my last video, I talked about getting a kidney biopsy due to the suspected lupus nephritis. Today, I'll be sharing with you what the biopsy revealed, the treatment options that I had to choose from, and how I decided on these plans while being a mom, a lupus warrior, and holding on to hope. I had my biopsy on a Monday, and by Thursday, I received a call from a renal specialist. And the fears came true. I had lupus nephritis class 5 and 3C. Even though I tried to prepare myself for the news, hearing it out loud hit me harder. My kidney function was still relatively stable, but I had nephrotic range proteinuria, which means I was losing a dangerous amount of protein through my urine. And that is exactly how lupus silently attacks your kidneys. Lupus nephritis is a serious complication of systemic lupus erythematosus, SLE. It happens when the immune system mistakenly attacks the kidneys, causing inflammation and, over time, damage. If left untreated, this can lead to kidney failure, needing dialysis or even a transplant. It often starts silently, but here are a few symptoms that you might notice. Firstly, swelling, especially in your leg or face, weight gain, foamy or bloody urine, and needing to urinate often at night. But sometimes there are no symptoms until the damage has advanced. According to the Lupus Foundation of America, there are 6 classifications of lupus nephritis, and I'll put a link in the description box below if you wish to read up on it more. So looking at this, I have class 3, meaning moderate damage and inflammation in parts of kidneys, and class 5 is when the kidney leaks too much protein into urine. As I had both, it was definitely serious enough to need an urgent treatment. On that one call with the renal physician, I was given 2 options to choose from. Firstly, cyclophosphamide infusions, which is a chemotherapy drug used to suppress immune system in severe autoimmune conditions. And secondly, mycophenolate mofetil, the MMFs, which is an oral immunosuppressant used during organ transplants. I was overwhelmed. I had never heard of these medications before. Both the medications had serious side effects, like being susceptible to infections, nausea, weight gain, fatigue, possible infertility, or bone marrow suppression, and many more. I couldn't believe that in that one phone call, I had to choose which path I would take. The first thought that came into my mind was of my little boy, who is nearly 4 years old. And I knew that I couldn't afford to wait to get better. I knew I couldn't risk any further damage. And so I chose the more aggressive option, which was the cyclophosphamide infusions, which is to be taken every 2 weeks for 3 months. Alongside that, I needed to start with the protective medications such as cotrimoxazole to prevent infections, omeprazole to prevent my stomach, and vitamin D for my bones. In just 2 weeks, I went from regular blood tests to a kidney biopsy to a life-changing diagnosis and to scheduling my chemo infusions. I didn't know what to feel. At first, I felt numb and then scared. Not for myself, but how I would manage all this. My little boy who needs me every second of the day. And then I had to figure out how to arrange for my income, my groceries, my household work, my job, my doctor's visits, transportation, my medications. And then I had to be mentally ready to go through this long treatment journey. When I shared the news with my close family and friends, I was overwhelmed by their kindness. My employer told me take all the time I needed to get better. My colleagues offered rides to the hospital appointments. My friends, they said, whatever you need, just tell us. And then my parents. My mom offered to travel from Fiji to New Zealand to stay with me and help look after my son, while my dad stayed back at the farm. My brother and my sister were just one phone call away. I felt so supported, so seen. And in that love and prayer, I found my strength to keep going. I'm also grateful to the New Zealand health system and my renal and rheumatology team. They moved so quickly. I didn't have to wait months for a diagnosis or a treatment, and that made a world of difference. If you have been diagnosed with lupus or know someone who has, please get your kidneys checked regularly. Studies have shown that over time, 60% of lupus patients will develop lupus nephritis, and almost half of children with lupus. Lupus nephritis is more common in women than in men, and there is an even higher prevalence and severity of this condition in African American, Asian, including Pacific Islanders and Hispanic women between the ages of 15 and 44. So, a simple blood and urine test could detect lupus nephritis and prevent irreversible damage. In my next video, I'll walk you through my first cyclophosphamide infusion, how it went, what I felt, and what were the side effects. If you want to be part of my lupus nephritis journey, please follow me on Facebook or subscribe to Lupus Comforts on YouTube channel. Please do share this story. You might just save a kidney. Together, we can raise awareness. Together, we can beat lupus nephritis. Thank you for watching.